Real show.
Yep. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
You got a question over here?
How did you think of the fags?
All right.
Okay.
Anybody else?
That episode... Really?
What?
Can you say that again? Just ask me one more time. Because you're asking a real question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you come up with the fags episode?
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. You're talking about the Harley episode with the bike riders. Yeah, the vroom, vroom. You sounded like Seth MacFarlane there. I thought we had Stewie asking us a question. That episode kind of stirred from one of our friends got married, and we actually made him look, in the show we made the character look like that character, but it was our friend Stan. He got married, and during his wedding, you know, there was these motorcycles, and actually Matt was at that wedding, and they had to stop the whole wedding because it was all, and they were all revving up, and they had to like stop the wedding, and Matt was like, God, that sucks so bad. And it was the same thing with the flutes, the flutes at the ball,
pan flutes,
with the pan flutes. You know that, you know, Matt brought that to the writers' room and said, doesn't that really piss you off? And so, you know, that's kind of where episodes are born. So that answers your question.
That's actually the way a lot of episodes are born. Like, something will happen to Matt or Trey, or they'll be... there are so many episodes that come out of, like, dinner. Like, talking about something at dinner, and all of a sudden, you know, a joke, and it gets funnier and funnier and funnier, and then it becomes a whole show.
The South Park is almost like a journal for Trey and Matt. I mean, we went down to Brazil, and we were eating at a restaurant. You know, down in Brazil, they all speak Portuguese, and we didn't really speak Portuguese and understand the menu. But we were like, we'll have whatever those people are eating, and we were like, what are they eating? What is that they're eating? I don't know, it looks pretty good. And Trey was like, oh, it's veal. Oh, that's veal that they're eating. And then, you know, the next run of shows, we'll do a show about veal, you know, and Stan, and Trey loves animals, and he's always loves critters, and always loves little, you know, like, I don't know, he likes to go golfing because he sees the critters on the golf course. But anyway, he's, you know, that's why that whole show about Stan, somebody asked about Stan, you know, how does that reflect Trey, and he just loves animals, and so that episode came out where they tried to save all the veal. So.
All right. Anybody else?
Anybody?
I got one right behind you with the Butters T-shirt, the Goth Butters, the vampire.
When did South Park first start getting very controversial? Like people started getting pissed and stuff.
People get pissed? What?
Oh, you mean when Tom Cruise had his little rant?
You know, I think South Park, I think on day one was one of those things that...
Yeah, but no one ever really got mad.
No, and
Bill
people,
Donahue did when we did the
people
Easter
talk
special.
all the time about, like, people coming and trying to shut South Park down. Like, that's never happened.
Yeah, it's never really happened.
Never.
I mean, just because it's going to even cause more exposure, and it's like, they just kind of let the, you know...
And you don't want to piss Matt and Trey off. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
What was, like, when the celebrities got pissed the most out of your episode?
Which celebrity?
Yeah, I think we answered that a little bit earlier, but there haven't been that many.
But we really don't know. Like, I know there was all this speculation of why an episode got pulled, or, you know...
I'll admit, we don't usually hear about that.
Yeah, it usually doesn't trickle down. It usually is all up in the upper offices and stuff. Where, Okay.
I don't know if this is already asked or not, but, like, who's your favorite minor character? Like, we have, Red, for example, Thomas, so, like, who's your favorite minor?
The minor character. Like, a character we don't see very often. You know, I wish they'd done more with Dog Poo. There was this character named Dog Poo.
He came back, though. He was in one of the recent episodes.
Yeah, he was in one of the recent episodes, and they actually wanted to use him for an episode, but they realized there was an episode where we made fun of The Bachelor, where we were giving out roses where they were trying to choose their best friend, and he had this, like, debonair, just this great voice, and spoke perfectly good English.
That was the great thing, is that was the only time I think he's really ever...
But when we did the pilot, there was Trey wanted to add a line where Dog Poo talked, and it was something like, what was it? It was like, I don't know why no one ever talks to me, and then Cartman was like, it's because you roll around in shit, Dog Poo. But it never made it, so, I mean, that was kind of the inspiration of Dog Poo, which is based on the character out of the Peanuts, you know, the one that walks around, Pigpen. It was just going to be like that.
And he actually does that dance in one of the Christmas episodes, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if he was in that episode, though.
I thought he was.
Maybe.
It's a long time ago.
Are there any smarter characters? You know, someone that's, like, at least one person that's smart, or is everybody just complete idiots or not just bright color in the box?
Wow. Wow, that's a condemnation right there.
I don't know. I think the kids actually always figure out.
Yeah, they're the ones that
usually
always
it's
solve the
adults that
problem.
are always the cuckoo, and
That's right.
like Randy and the kids are like rise above it, and they approach it a different way. So I would say Stan and Kyle are probably probably our smartest characters that figure things out.
How did Kanye West feel about the gay fish episode?
Did anyone read the internet after that episode? Anybody read Kanye's blog? Okay, I think that's enough then.
Yeah, Kanye. It was kind of neat to see him acknowledge it, but then he went and did that silly thing with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Flash isn't real.
The Flash?
No,
Oh, Flash isn't real.
He is real.
Guten Flash.
Hi, longtime fan here. Been watching South Park since first season. I was a freshman in high school.
Cool.
Favorite all-time episode has got to be the Underpants Gnomes.
Ah.
And just a question here: where the hell did they get the idea for these Underpants Gnomes? Does someone's underwear go missing in the middle of the night or something, and they had to make up a story?
That's a question for Matt and Trey and the writers, but at the time, really, that was the first episode that we ever did in like 4 days. Like, we had 4 days to finish that episode, so we had to come up with something really fast to get it to air.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the last shows in that run. That shows. Yeah. It's funny because with Tweek, Tweek was, I think, was supposed to be the original Butters, because Tweek had this big spotlight on him, and I think that character was just so one-dimensional because he always freaked out, was always worried, that I think that's where Butters kind of came out, because Butters was more of a contrasty character with Cartman than Tweek was.
And I remember when we did the first Tweek episode, like, we spent so much time getting his little tweak right.
Yeah.
And then we started putting in other episodes where Tweek would just sit in the classroom and freak out. And Trey and he'd be like, we need to calm that down.
Yeah, we also had that problem when we were animating Timmy, because Timmy's always kind of moving around, and oftentimes Trey would like either reframe the shot so that Timmy wasn't in it, or he's like, oh, we got to tone down Timmy, because it was distracting to jokes, and maybe that's why Tweek never.
And it has a lot to do with, with the early part of South Park, with all the limited animation that we were doing. Like, when a character wasn't talking or doing something, they would just sit there, and then it started, for the first 3-4 years, like, we were animating a lot more.
Yeah.
And getting crazy in the background, and I think it became distracting, and maybe took away a little bit from from kind of the charm of the show and the way that we're supposed to try to make it look crappy.
Yeah.
So.
For the Underpants Gnome, what's step 2?
That is the question.
I don't think we have enough time for step 2. we got to show the movie here, right?
You guys want to show the movie?
Let's do it. You ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Dow and Chris Bryan.
Thank
Make
you.
some noise.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome,
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, cool, guys. You guys ready to see the movie? Make some noise if you want to see the movie. All right, ladies and gentlemen.